Timmy was a normal goat. He roamed from hill to hill, chewing on grass and twigs and leaves, trying to eat his fill. One day he heard the other goats crying out in fear. Timmy wondered what it could be when a wolf howl reached his ear. The other goats fled over the hill, but Timmy could not escape. 3 wolves were closing in on him, their hungry mouths agape. Timmy backed up against a cliff to make his final stand. Perhaps he could ram his way to safety. Maybe someone would lend a hand. Then he smelled a strong and wonderful smell, like black pepper, smoked and hot, and looking down between his hooves, saw red moss growing on the rock. That smells divine, the young goat thought, and bit a chunk to chew. One final meal before I die. What else can I do? He felt a tingle in his belly. The wolves' hackles rose, their snarls turned to whimpers, as smoke billowed from his nose. His chest felt tight and started to burn. He couldn't hold it in. He belched and fire sprang from his mouth and bathed the first wolf's chin. It yelped in pain and jumped up high, its chin covered with flame, then ran into the second wolf and set light its mane. The third wolf began to back away, belly close to the ground with fear. But Timmy belched a second time and burnt it from nose to rear. The wolves cried out, turned tail and fled, back from whence they came, ran burning down the hill to safety from the goat of flame. For an hour or so, Timmy breathed his flames, while sat atop his hill, and all the other goats returned and waited for his fiery blasts to still. We're saved, they cried. He's chased them off, and no more shall we fear. Any wolf who comes this way will find themselves well seared. For several years, the herd was safe, while Timmy patrolled their home. If there were any hint of wolves nearby, he'd quickly see them gone. The side effects were not so fun. Indigestion, for the most part. And more than one goat had been knocked out by one of Timmy's moss farts. Timmy's fame spread far and wide, embellished with every telling. His feats increased in size and strength. His farts became worse smelling. To the north went a tale of a plague of wild hogs, scared off of Timmy's patch. He set fire to the whole lot of them, like one huge squealing match. To the south, a wandering giant, with a love for goat pâté. A quick chew in his moss and a gout of flame sent the giant on his way. And in the west, the story spread to many a town, and to smaller places too, until it reached a dark, remote cave where a dragon liked to snooze. A human there told the dragon tales, while imprisoned in the dragon's den. If the tales were good and stayed that way, the dragon would eat the other men. After several duds one fateful day, he landed on a winner. This tale of bravery against the odds, today he wouldn't be dinner. He told the tale of a far-off land where a herd of goats roamed free, protected by the goat dragon, a fire-breathing hero named Timmy.
A goat dragon? What a curious thing.
The dragon grumbled with a puff of smoke.
I've seen many things from across the world, from rocks that could walk to a fish that spoke. I've never seen a goat dragon. I think I'll have a look. I could be a while and you'll go stale.
So snapped all the humans up. Timmy was roaming on his hill, in search of a place where sweet berries grow, when his vision went dark for a second, the land covered in shadow.
I hunt the dragon goat,
a terrible voice boomed. An enormous dragon landed near his flock. Great leathery wings snapped shut with a bang, and the goats all fled in shock. Come and face me, Timmy cried. The dragon leapt into the air. Timmy ran towards his moss, but the dragon beat him there.
"What's this?"
it said, taking in a deep breath.
"Dragon moss. It's been centuries, I'm sure."
And with its big scaly tongue licked clean the whole patch and belched out fire, which turned from red to azure.
"So this is how the dragon goat breathes fire. I had no idea it would work this way. I've heard of exploding cows and of melting sheep when the moss got mixed in their hay. But a goat who eats the moss of dragons old can breathe fire like a normal dragon would? What a curious thing. But now I've solved this riddle. You're just another piece of food."
So the dragon bent its neck and snapped Timmy up in its jaws.
So spicy and peppery. I'd eat this all day.
And licked the tips of its claws. Now a dragon's neck is long and wide, so it took time for Timmy to slide down its sluice. And he managed to wedge his legs to either side to stop falling into the stomach juice. Timmy shook with strain and fear. The dragon shook its head in pain. When Timmy felt a rumble in his guts, one of his famous farts again. It emerged in one long, continuous note and mixed with Timmy's cries. When the noxious wind met the acid below, it pickled the dragon's insides. The dragon howled in pain and fear. Flames spurted from its mouth. Convulsions racked its giant body, and it spat Timmy clean out. The dragon collapsed in heaving breaths, laying on its side. The other goats came out of the woods where they had run to hide. And that is how the dragon died, surrounded by the goats of the hill. Timmy comforted the dragon as it passed away, till its heaving breaths went still. They left the dragon there to decay, curled in one huge coil. After several years, the goats did see that red moss was growing in the soil. So now, if you venture into these hills in search of stories to boast, you'll find a whole herd of goat dragons, and Timmy, the first fire-breathing goat.